honest, I felt like the quest this quarter was like somehow easier to understand than last quarters.
So true.
Yeah, I agree. It seems it takes less time to finish them. But for this quest, the hash table one, it took me a while to get the final 2 trophies. The table full exception one. And I still don't really understand why it should. Did you guys get all 23 trophies in that quest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like the exception.
Yeah, it's the
one that was a
exception
little weird.
points.
Yeah, but why would you ever throw a table full exception and insert if you would never get to a full table, right? Because you're always rehashing if your vacant cell, your number of non-vacant cells is greater than the size multiplied by your max factor. So that's a little bit confusing for me.
You can set that to be 1 exactly. That's the case where you would check for full table.
Say that again?
So one of the options is that you set the max load factor to be 1 exactly. So the number of non-vacant elements is the same as the size. And the other one is that the size of basically the size variable that you that is defined, not elements.size. The size variable is the same as the max number of vacant cells. Then it would be considered full.
Yeah, but it would never. First of all, you can't set your max load factor to 1 because in your set method, you're returning false if it's 0 or negative, or if it's bigger than your allowed max, which for your linear hash table, it should be 0.75. So
That's according to the spec. I'm just saying that if that wasn't the case, you could make it larger.
Yeah, so but how would professor's tester test that? If it would never throw table full exception, how would it know that you had it even in there?
You would make well, the professor would probably make the size variable and the number of non-vacant elements, non-vacant spaces to be the same. And if they're the same, then it would be considered full, even though it's not actually full.
Oh, I see. You're saying like in his tester, he's just looking at the elements vector and resizing it to that number, the number of non-vacant cells.
I don't think he has to even resize that. He just has to set the size variable to be lower, because lms.size and size are 2 different things.
Right.
I mean, that's the only way I can see how he could test that.
I see. But it should throw, I don't know, I'm so confused, because it should throw a table full if your number of non-vacant is equal to your actual size of the vector, not the size of active elements.
I think you can set it up to be both ways, I think. I'll have to look into it more.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, have any of you done the partition function yet? In the crocodile, or might not be that. I don't know what. It's shark one. Sorry, I don't know why.
Yeah, I started working on it yesterday.
Okay, so then for partition, I've been stuck on it for like a few days. Like sorry, I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, for my partition, I basically like followed exactly what he said in the specs. But then for like the incrementing I or J, like I don't think I'm getting that condition correct. Like could you guys give me like a rough estimate of what you guys did?
Yeah, you don't increment the J, by the way, because this is a 2-pointer technique where you put the I in the left side and the J on the right side. So the J actually decrements when a certain condition is met.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I meant to say that like decrementing, because I just said if the I is sorry, let me pull it up right now. Recite it. Yeah. right now I was doing yeah, I was doing what he was doing. If I is greater than or less than j, I would swap. And then under that, I would have like another condition where I would check if I is like less than low. And then if it was, then I would increment I. And then if I or j is greater than hi, I would or high, I would decrement j.
Right, but you actually have to also check the actual element itself in the vector. So you have to check the elements vector at index I, and if it's greater or less than the pivot, and then you would increment I or decrement j as necessary.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. I'll try that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a little weird because his spec said return the first element of the second partition, but I don't think that works. You have to return the last element of the first partition.
Yeah, I was looking at the spec too. I still haven't even like finished at all. I was just looking at the spec and tried coding it, but after doing it on paper, I think it shouldn't it be the element after the right side, the right the one that decrements. Not sure, right?
Like the first or second one. Like the first element of the second partition.
Wait, I think I misunderstood your question.
Oh, I meant like, you know, you partition is one that's lower and one that's higher. And the pivot.
I think you're just supposed to return the higher one at the end. Yeah, that's what I did. I just returned the second pointer.
Oh, you're saying if they cross, right?
Oh yeah, if they cross.
Yeah, so when I looked at it, and if they cross, I still think it should be the one after your second pointer. Because it like goes like they cross, and then you should insert it the one after. I think like in between. I'm not sure though.
So like the one of the bigger partition. you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's why
the bigger one is the second pointer though, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you have like, let's say you have two elements, just 0 and 1, you set I to 0, J to 1, and your pivot is 0 because you're just doing integer arithmetic or whatever. Like I think like because like then J would decrement to 0, I would stay at 0.
Yeah,
And
and that means they crossed.
but then it would be like, or I mean it would be like an infinite loop because like you return J, which is 0, and then you just do the pivot of the two elements again, right?
That's if they're both equal to the pivot, right? That's also in the spec.
Yeah, but
You said there's three scenarios, like if they cross, if they don't cross, or if they're both equal to the pivot. So in this case, it'd both be 0, and that's both the pivot, right?
yes. If they yeah, the three different scenarios, that's right.
Yeah. Because the way you have the way at least I had the thing.
Yeah, so I think they're still, if they're both equal to the pivot, then you would just increment the low and decrement the high, and run it again, I think. And then it should hit a different, yeah, and then they cross, right? And that's when you return, I think. I'm not sure. I still haven't tested or this was just within like 30 minutes of looking at it, so I don't know.
I have to go.
All right, see you, man.
All right,
Yeah.
see you.
See you next week.
Well, my approach with the partitioning was just create a double while loop. One of them is infinite, and the other two, which is the inner loop, is the one where it erases the two different pointers and keep incrementing or decrementing it as the condition is met. And then the infinite loop will stop if the two pointer actually cross, and then it will return the second pointer. And then
No, I'm
it
saying
just
like,
swaps the two elements as necessary too.
yeah, I mean, if I is like less than j, then you would swap, and then increment I and decrement j.
Yeah,
Else you return like whatever the pointer is.
yeah, and yeah, else you would return the j.
Why would you return the
It's
J?
like the way what?
Why do you return the J if they cross?
Let me see the spec once again. I haven't touched
Yeah,
this
'cause
quest.
if you don't return j, it might not work, because like, let's say you just have two elements, 0 and 1. You set I to 0, j to 1, j decrements to 0. So you break out and you return. If you return I, then it's gonna be like an infinite loop unless you have like other conditions in your Q sort.
Figure.
You're just gonna be calling Q sort on the same exact set.
Yeah, I'm not sure. From what I understand, the partition is supposed to return the index after, everything on the left is smaller and everything on the right is bigger. So that's that one point where, like, after choosing a pivot index, you're looking at that element at that index, and you're choosing an index where everything before it is smaller than the element at that index, and everything after is greater, right?
Yeah, but that could be like that last element of the first partition or the first element of the second partition. So like I or j, depending on which one you're returning.
You cut out. I can't hear you.
Oh yeah, like oddly enough though, my partition function, like for some reason when I was using like standard swap, like it wasn't actually like changing the elements, so I had to use like standard move instead. Did that happen to you guys or?
I can do this standard swap just fine. What exactly did you put into the parameter?
I did exactly like the modules in the textbook did, where I did standard swap and then I put LMs at like the index, comma LMs at another index.
Yeah, it should be fine. That's what I did.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I even like made
Did
sure to
you-
include all the libraries.
You got the. I think the only library you need is just using namespace standard. I don't think you need anything else.
Just right.
Oh,
Or you
really?
can-
write a swap function.
Or you can just do standard double colon swap.
Oh, sorry, I meant like the library, like because I searched up online, like why isn't standard swap working? They said to do like include like algorithms, but like even when I did that, like
I don't use algorithms for that.
okay, yeah, it must be something wrong. Like maybe it's like the reference because I'm passing in a reference, like because it's like to LMs, but I don't know why. Like on my end when I'm doing my tests, it's probably something wrong with my test case.
Interesting. I'm not sure. Yeah, mine is also a reference, but it's fine.
Also, I was wondering in the spec, it says the pivot index should be low plus the average of low and high. Why do we add that extra low? Did anybody think about that? And
So you don't overflow.
how?
Because like if you add high low plus high divided by 2, like if your number is really big, then like it could like overflow size 7 and be like negative. Or not negative, but like
Say that again.
you know, like overflow and like reset to the other side or something.
Oh, I thought it was because
Like,
low
you add up-
doesn't necessarily have to be 0. So like it's the index between the indexes given. So if it's from like 2 to 6, you want the index between 2 and 6.
Ah, yeah, I think that's why. You're right. Oh, I didn't think of it like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because if you take the average between high and low, you won't overflow. Yeah, it's a good point.
Wait. If you take like 2 and 6, like if you just add it up and divide by 2, you'd still get the middle.
I don't know. That's what I thought of.
No,
Maybe.
if you take 2 and 6, you get right, so it'd be 6 minus 2 over 2. That's 2. You wouldn't get the middle. You're gonna have to add 2.
Oh,
So
wait,
you get
was
4.
it low plus high divided by 2 or high minus low?
It's high minus low over 2.
Oh,
Oh, so it's not the average. Oops. Yeah.
no, because I thought it was like either you do like low plus high divided by 2. No, like you would think to do that, but then he wanted us to do low plus high minus low divided by 2.
Yeah. No, low plus high minus low over 2 makes sense. Because you're finding like the median distance in between, and then you're adding it to your starting position. So you actually get the median of the two indices. Yeah. Wait, I'm kind of confused. I'm trying to do this on paper right now, and I'm stuck on what it would do. Let me see. Let's open a whiteboard real quick. Let's say I have this vector, right? 2, 4, 3, 5, 1. Right, and we choose this to be our we would choose this to be our pivot, right? So then our I would point as different colors to make it nice, right? This would be I and this would be J. According to the spec, he said professor says to switch since I is bigger than J. He says to swap them, but then it would still be on the wrong side, right? Like it would still be like 1, 4, 3, 5, 2. Or should there be like another check before you swap.
I don't think I would, or I wouldn't stop at 2.
Oh wow! Oops. Oops. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Oh wow! Embarrassing. Right. 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 Okay. Yeah, that clears it up. My bad.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna head out now. Thanks for the help, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Everyone's like out for Memorial Day or something.
Yeah.
What do people do for Memorial Day?
I don't know. Go
Like
barbecue or
camping.
something.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes like for that one, like the find kth least element was like when he says like find like fifth least element.
You're kind of cutting off, John. I think your Wi-Fi is unstable.
Yeah, I can't hear it either. You cut out, man. What were you saying?
Um, like I think it was like slightly confusing the spec, or like for that function find the kth least element. Because like normally when you like find the fifth least element or something, like you think like it was actually like the fifth least element, but I think he's talking about like the index like 5, so it'd be like the sixth least.
Yeah, I think what it does, yeah.
At least like I think that's what I was
What are you saying? You cut out.
Should my internet's kind of least element for the partition?
Man, you cut out again.
Did I cut out again?
Yeah.
You know the find kth least element one?
Yeah.
Like normally when you think about like find the fifth least element, like you think is the actual like the fifth least element, but like I think he's talking about like the one at index 5, so like it's the sixth least.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And it's
think
like,
what he wants is like the basically if you think about it sorted, then if he gives you k as like 5, then yeah, at index 5 he wants that value.
yeah,
That's the
it was
thing.
just yeah, it's just
Yeah, it's confusing.
slightly confusing because find fifth.
You're cutting
It's
off
like,
again.
oh,
Yeah, man, we can't hear you.
it's I think we covered the plan already.
Yeah.
What'd you do for the entry pass sort?
For the entry pass.cpp.
Yeah. Did you just do like shell sort?
I don't even know what the one I did is called. I just I think it's the worst one. It's like it's my bubble sort maybe, right? When you just check the neighbors and keep moving it over.
I don't think you can even like you can't even pass the quest if you do that because like
Oh, it's not efficient enough.
yeah, like you need like a certain speed to like get to the actual quest.
Yeah, I thought it was
I
like
did insertions and it did not pass. What?
I thought the spec said you can like do the whatever you want. Like if you have a sort, you could just. I guess I need to change it then. Damn.
I actually
Yeah.
did quick sort.
Oh,
I
okay.
did what I had to
That's-
do for the shark quest. I just copy pasted most of it. Yeah, that's literally what I did.
Yeah, that works.
All right, guys, I gotta go too. But it was a good meeting. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Goodbye. I'm gonna head out too. See ya.
Adios.